Hi, it's been a while since my last video, but I'm glad I managed to get back to my hobby, so this time I would like to present you another minis from the Witcher Old World board game. This time it's a Brewess, the third of the crones, and I hope you will forgive me that we absence. Unfortunately, there is not much I could done, to get it back to you a bit earlier than that. Now, as you can see, I am presenting some reference card. Obviously, again, I'm using both cards from the board game and also from the event, the card game, which in both you have some sort of better guidance in terms of the colors of the miniature. The mini itself was primed with the grey primer, the spray grey primer from Citadel, and it's covered only with this color. I didn't use any darker or white tone while I was doing that. The model is quite big, and then the base itself is barely visible because we have that white skirt covering the majority of it. The first color we're using is the Bugman's Glow, and we're gonna use this color to cover all the skin parts, which is mainly the arms, a bit of a back, and front in here. There is no visible face in that model, which might ease a bit for some of the beginners who are a bit afraid of painting the face. Now our next color, XV88, which we're gonna paint the basket in front of her face, and as well I would say a voodoo doll that is behind her belt. Next step is the mixture of three shades, which is Citadel Drab, then the white Corax White, and Naggaroth, which is the purple, with pretty much equal parts, and we painting the wee apron in front of her. And next we're gonna switch to Waaagh flash, and this is the green parts on the top of her clothes and the hood as well. As you probably noticed, there are a couple of patches on her skirt, and some of them I decided just to paint the same green shade, just to simplify the process. Our next steps will be the skirt itself, and we're gonna use the combination of three colors, which is the Naggaroth, the XV88, and the Rhinox hide. And we paint all over the skirt. Again, at this stage you don't have to be so neat. If there will be any corrections required, we can always do them at some stage, while we're painting the other parts of it. Then as I mentioned earlier on, a couple patches on the skirt, so some of them I just paint them red with the Mephiston red, just for a bit of a contrast. Then Stormvermin Fur, the kind of like a light gray color, and we're gonna paint the wee fish beside her apron, and then the brown color, the Mournfang brown, to paint some of the spoons. I decided to do some of them with the brown that will be representing timber, but some of them will be stainless steel. And then using that Mournfang brand with a bit of a XV88, we're gonna paint those purse on the sides on both sides of the model. Then, as I mentioned, you know, the steel spoon and the little will be painted with Leadbelcher initially. There's also some metal parts beside her neck and the wee padlock hanging down, so we're also painting those with our dark silver steel, which is the Leadbelcher. Yeah, there is one more patch that I decided to go with the red on the top of her back, on the shoulder. Next we're gonna switch over to the Steel Legion Drab, and this paint we're gonna use to paint all the ropes that are on this model. There's quite a few of them, and at this time I would advise, you know, to be precise, don't go over just for the nice effect towards the end. At this point I'm also using this color to paint the wee parts of the base. There's not much of it, but still we want to add a bit of a texture to it. So this is the how's the model presenting at this stage with the all base colors applied. Now something new, the paint liner from the Tamiya, which is kind of like an oil based, and comparing to the washes we're using at the moment, the difference with this paint is that it's very thin. It's only going into the recesses, the deep recesses. And again, if you painting with the acrylics like Citadel and use over the paint liner like that, you can use the excess of this paint with the turpentine, which is very handy. You just simply get the, you know, the cosmetic stick, the cotton stick with a bit of turpentine, and even when the paint is dried you can still remove the excess of it without interfering with our Citadel paints underneath. So it's very handy. I do not want to use too much washes of it. I prefer to do it the nice highlighting without using the washes on this model. So first of all we're gonna start with doing the green parts, which we get back to our base color, which was the Waaagh flesh, and we're gonna be adding the XV88 with a couple of stages just to bring it up the color a little bit. So we'll be doing very thin layers of that paint, and then we'll be adding a little bit more of the XV88 in every consecutive layer, and we're gonna do that number of times just to highlight that area. And we're using the same combination to highlight those patches on the skirt as well. And as you can see, I'm adding a bit more and more and more of the XV88 and do very thin layers of that fabric on her back, just to add a bit of a different shades on it. There's a couple of wee dots on that fabric as well, and I'm just painting them with the pure XV88. And also with the pure XV88 I'm doing a bit of highlighting on that I would say a voodoo doll attached to her belt. Next we're gonna switch to the Bugman's Glow, and then we're gonna be adding a little bit of the Screamer Pink to do the darker parts, and then the Cadian Fleshtone to do the top parts. So from the bottom, as you can see, I'm using the mixture of the Bugman's Glow and the Screamer Pink, and we're painting the shades and the areas, let's say, like as you can see under the arms. But then from the top we'll be doing the highlights in a couple of stages, and we're gonna use the mixture of the Bugman's Glows and the Cadian Fleshtone. And again, we're using the very thin paint, and we will be adding a bit more of the Cadian Fleshtone in a couple of stages, and again just to highlight those top parts when you can see, you know, the light reflect. We're using this technique to paint the other parts of her body, so there is a bit of exposed parts on the front and the back, and again we just reduce the coverage which every next layer we're gonna apply, so we're gonna have the very kind of bright spots on the top while we finish this process. For our final stages, we're gonna add a bit of a Kislev flesh, and again we're gonna do it in a couple of stages, just to bring the lightest tone up. Again, this is a kind of like time-consuming process. However, I believe it brings a nice effect towards the end. Now, and this is the outcome of our skin painting. And next we're gonna switch over to Averland Sunset, and we're gonna use this color to highlight the Twee doll behind her belt. And as well, we're gonna do a bit of a dry brushing on that basket in front of her face. Next, we're gonna switch to the reds, which is the Mephiston red and the Wild Rider red. And we're gonna do it again in a couple of stages, and at some point we're gonna add a little bit of our yellow just to soften that red a bit, and our final stage of highlighting that will be addition of a little bit of the white. In our next stage, we're gonna get back to our three colors, which is the Rhinox White, Naggaroth Night, and the XV88. And also, as well, for our highlight tone, we're gonna mix the TrollSlayer Orange with the XV88, and we're gonna use this shade to brighten up our original mix that we used to paint the skirting. Then, as you can see, initially we cover quite a lot of that space, but again, once we will be lighten up this color, we're gonna go a little bit less with every layer we gonna apply. So again, make sure that your paint is properly tint, water it, so we're not gonna use the too thick paint while we're applying that on the model. And again, as you can see, we will be adding this mix of the orange and XV88 in a couple of stages until we get the nice shade result. The front of the model might be a bit difficult, as there is quite a lot of different things hanging down on her, so that's why I decided to do that skirting first, because if you made any mistakes and go over or something, you know, there will be an easier fix on those little things than, you know, fixing the whole skirtings once it's finished. As you can see, we add a little bit more and more, and highlighting those exposed areas a little bit further with every layer. Now, as you can see, we're doing a bit of a edge highlighting with the very, very bright tone that we use for our highlighting of that skirt. And in the background, probably one of the coolest songs from the Witcher PC game, the Witcher 3 PC game. Now with a bit of a highlighting of the timber spoons. So again, we're gonna use our original Mournfang brown, and again I use a little bit of that highlighting tone that we use for the skirting to bring it up a bit, but for the final kind of stage we add in a little bit of the ivory from Vallejo. Now in our next stage we're gonna get back to our grey color with a little bit of the Corax White, and we're gonna do highlights on the fish. And again, as previously, we're gonna do that in a couple of stages. Adding a bit more and more white to every next layer. I decided to do a bit of a wash on that wee padlock in front and the wee metal thing around her neck. And again I switch over to Vallejo with the black wash, as the one from Citadel is become shiny from some time, and I'm not very happy with the result that we get in it from. Next we're gonna do a highlighting of that wee skirting, so we're gonna use our original mix that we used previously. However, we will be adding a bit more and more white, and again we do it with the very watered paint, and we're gonna do it in a couple of stages. So towards the end, as you can see, we're painting with pretty much white with a little bit of that kind of purple thing. And then at the last part we're gonna add a little bit of the flash gitz yellow, just to get this, just to break down that white a little bit, so we're gonna have a kind of like ivory effect on those edges there. Next, again, we get back to our brown with the XV88. The brown was, as just remind you, the Mournfang brown, and we're gonna do a bit of a highlighting of the of those spurs. For the final part, for the final layer, we're gonna add a little bit of the flash gitz yellow as well. Next, our Leadbelcher mixed with the silver. Again, I have silver from Vallejo, but you can use similar color from Citadel if you have it. And then we're gonna do a bit of a touch base here and there on the metal parts, and then finally we're gonna use the pure silver and touch base literally here and there at some details. For those ropes as well, our highlight tone will be the Zandri Dust, which is very similar tone to the Steel Legion Drab, but again much brighter, which brings those ropes a bit more contrast. And again we add a little bit of the Averland Sunset and do touch base here and there on those top parts of the roping, just to bring them a bit more up. I forgot to mention earlier, there are some stitches on those patches, and I did paint them originally with the Steel Legion Drab, and now we do a wee highlights with our mix with the yellow. Then the Typhus Corrosion, which I'm apply on the little bit of the base that's visible, just to show a wee bit of the muddy soil, and then a tiny bit of that on the skirt, just to put a bit of a dirt on the model. Now we're gonna use some German grey and we're gonna paint the rim of the base. So next we're gonna use some technical paint called Naggaroth, and we're gonna put a wee bit on the little and a couple of stains of the skirt as well, and just a tiny bit of the blood on the spoon, just a wee touch. And this is our result so far. Next I'm gonna cut a little bit of the kind of like a dark grass and stick it over the gap on her head, and just to pretend some hairs in there. So this is how's the model presenting at the moment. My final stage was just to put a wee final coat, so I decided to use the acrylic varnish from scale 75. I applied it with the airbrush after the bad decision with some of my previous model. I didn't want to risk anything so this is the final result after applying the varnish on. So once again, for those who are following my channel, apologies for such a long gap. Unfortunately, life's not always going as we planned. However, I hope you like this video and you will watch my next that hopefully will come soon on my channel. So again, thanks for watching it, and I hope to see you shortly on my next clips.